Hey guys, hope you're all doing great. I'm Hoodie, and today we're going to check out some Reddit stories together. And if you enjoy listening to Reddit stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The subreddit, Am I the Asshole? OK Satisfaction 4739. Am I the asshole for wanting to embrace my body and dress more confidently after years of hiding myself, even though I promised my husband I would stay modest? Okay, so I, 38 female, need to know if I'm tripping or not. I'm Mexican and I'm built really curvy. Like I got a big chest and a fat ass, and that's just how it is. I also got a lot of tattoos that I spent a lot of money on. My husband David, 41 male, is white and he's real old school and strict. Since we got married, I basically dressed how he wanted. Lots of big shirts and mom jeans cause he said he didn't want people looking at me crazy. But now my kids are older and I've been going to the gym 24/7. Not gonna lie, I look good. Like real good. My tattoos look fire and my body is snatched right now. My girls are always posting the pictures on IG and getting hyped up, and I just want to feel like that too. I want to wear my cute little crop tops and my two-piece bikinis without David catching an attitude. He literally told me that because of how I'm built, if I wear tight clothes I look trashy and like a bad mom, and it makes him look bad. We had this huge fight, and he made me promise, like literally made me say the words that I wouldn't post no thirsty pictures or wear stripper clothes in public. I said fine just so he'd shut up and leave me alone. But now I'm mad. I took some selfies in the gym mirror, and you can see my whole back tattoo and my glut gains, and I look so good I almost cried. I want to post them so bad just to get some nice comments and feel myself for once. David says I'm being a bad mom and a bad wife, and that I'm selling myself cheap for likes from random dudes. I feel like he's just trying to keep me hidden cause he's insecure. I'm a grown woman and I work for this body. AITA if I just post my pictures and wear my sexy fits anyway? Like he knew I was thick when he met me, so why he mad now? What immediately comes through in this story isn't vanity, it's hunger. Not for attention in the shallow sense, but for recognition. This feels like the voice of someone who has spent years shrinking herself, covering herself up, learning how to disappear quietly in order to keep the peace. From a personal standpoint, the most uncomfortable part isn't the clothes or the selfies. It's the language your husband uses. Words like trashy, bad mom, selling yourself cheap aren't about modesty. They're about shame. They're meant to discipline her body, not protect the relationship. And once shame enters a marriage, especially aimed at someone's physical presence, it leaves deep marks. I don't read her desire to post pictures as rebellion for rebellion's sake. I read it as a woman seeing herself clearly for the first time in years and wanting anyone, to acknowledge that she exists beyond her roles. Mother, wife, caregiver. This isn't about thirst. It's about visibility. What stands out emotionally is that she didn't change into someone new. She didn't suddenly become too much. She's the same woman he married, same body type, same curves, same tattoos. The only real difference now is confidence. And sometimes, that's what makes insecure dynamics crack. And while at first glance her desire for attention might seem like a contradiction between clothes and social media, the post clearly shows that what she's really struggling with is far more profound than simply dressing well, as the poster further elaborates. If he was actually gassing me up and telling me I look fire, I wouldn't be so thirsty for likes. But he treats me like I'm invisible. I'm a great mom, but I'm still a woman with a body people want to see. I ain't trying to have every guy at the gym staring at my assets while I'm squatting, but if I post my progress and people start hyped, at least someone is appreciating the view. It just feels good to be seen. I'm not trying to be a bad wife. I just want the world to see me. The update makes the core issue painfully clear. This isn't really about clothes or social media. It's about emotional neglect. The line that hit me hardest was her saying that if he actually hyped her up, she wouldn't crave validation elsewhere. That's such an honest admission. It shows self-awareness, not selfishness. When the person who's supposed to see you the most treats you like you're invisible, or worse, like something embarrassing, you start looking for mirrors anywhere you can find them. From my perspective, this turns the story into something deeper than an AITA question. It becomes a story about a woman trapped between loyalty and self-erasure. She's not trying to disrespect her marriage. She's trying to reclaim a version of herself that never should have been buried in the first place. There's also something important about how motherhood is being weaponized against her. Being a good mom is framed as being small, modest, and unseen, as if womanhood must end the moment motherhood begins. That's a quiet, cruel standard that a lot of women absorb without realizing how much it costs them. Stepping back, I don't see a woman choosing likes over love. I see a woman choosing existence over invisibility. If I had to sum up the full story in one thought, it would be this. Wanting to be seen doesn't make you disloyal, it makes you human. And sometimes, the most dangerous promise a woman makes isn't to a partner. It's the one where she agrees to stop being herself just to keep someone else comfortable. Now, let's move on to the next post. The subreddit, Am I the Asshole? Spiritual Grocery 641. Am I the asshole for buying my girlfriend vanilla shampoo? My girlfriend uses a few different types of shampoo and alternates between them. One of them, a vanilla-scented one, is my favorite. She asked me to pick up some things for her at the store, and on my way to check out I saw the vanilla shampoo and grabbed that too. When I got back to her apartment, she started putting away the things I bought. She was confused by the shampoo and asked me why I got it. I said that I saw it and know she uses that kind and grabbed it for her. She said she wasn't running low on shampoo. I said I know, but it doesn't expire and that one is my favorite. I teasingly said that she should use it if she's planning to wash her hair tonight. She asked what I meant by it being my favorite. I said I like the way it makes her hair smell, like cookies. She looked a little weirded out. I asked her if she was okay. She said it was weird that I sexualized her shampoo. I said smelling nice is sexy. I asked if she thinks I'm sexier when I use nice-smelling soaps and deodorants. She said not really, as long as I don't actively smell bad. I said maybe it's different for everyone. She said honestly it bothered her that something as mundane as shampoo was sexual to me. She asked me if someone else smelled like vanilla would I be attracted to them? I said no, that she was misunderstanding me. She asked me to clarify, but I don't think I did a good job. I said I specifically liked the smell on her, not other people. She still seemed put out, so I headed home to give her space. Was I an asshole for buying the shampoo and telling her I like when she uses it? To me that's not weird, but maybe that's because I'm a guy. Is there a layer to this I'm not seeing? At first glance, this story feels almost disarmingly small. Shampoo. A scent. A casual comment that didn't land the way it was intended. But what caught my attention right away wasn't the vanilla shampoo. It was the confusion. This reads like someone genuinely trying to do something thoughtful, and then suddenly realizing the emotional rules of the relationship aren't what they thought they were. From a personal perspective, the discomfort doesn't come from attraction itself, but from the interpretation of it. To him, liking how his girlfriend smells feels natural, affectionate, even intimate in a harmless way. To her, that same comment crosses into something unsettling, like her everyday existence is being filtered through a sexual lens she didn't consent to. What makes this part of the story emotionally interesting is that neither reaction feels fake. He isn't being lewd or crude. She isn't being dramatic for no reason. They're simply speaking two very different emotional languages. One sees attraction as an ambient, background feeling. The other wants it clearly separated from mundane, non-sexual moments. And in that gap, both people feel misunderstood. And while the situation initially seemed like a simple misunderstanding over a scent and a comment that landed wrong, the update shows that the shampoo was only the surface. What followed uncovered deeper differences in boundaries, expectations, and how each person experiences attraction itself. So yesterday my girlfriend didn't like it that I took it upon myself to buy her vanilla shampoo when I was picking some things up for her at the store. We met up at her apartment again this morning for breakfast, and I asked if we could talk about our boundaries and expectations, because I never want to make her feel uncomfortable. She agreed that we should talk. She said that when she visited her family over winter break, she had time to think about our relationship and talk to her parents and sister about me. She said that space and perspective made her realize some things. The first thing she realized is that she isn't happy that we always meet at her apartment. I said I completely understand that, and she is welcome to come hang out at mine. When we first started dating, she didn't want to visit my apartment often because of my 4 roommates, but things change, and I get that. She still doesn't want to hang out at my apartment because of my 4 roommates though. She said that my living situation is too crowded and it bothers her. I asked if she wanted me to move, and she said she would like it if I made a commitment to finding a new living situation by the next semester. Since the next semester is a long way off, this isn't unreasonable, but I was hesitant. I really like my living situation. My friends and I help each other out a lot. I don't necessarily want to live alone, and it is expensive. She can afford to live alone, but I don't necessarily think I could. I explained that I didn't think I could afford it. She suggested I ask my parents for money, which isn't an option. She also pointed out that I have a part-time job, but that doesn't make me enough money to pay for my own apartment. I asked if me spending too much time at her apartment is the only issue, because I felt like there was more to the shampoo thing. She said yes, that she didn't like that. She said she didn't like the idea that I'm constantly thinking about having sex with her, and that it made her feel disrespected. I said I'm not constantly thinking about having sex with her. I told her it's more that I really like her, and sometimes she does things and I think they are sexy, but that doesn't mean I necessarily want to have sex at that moment. It's just my internal monologue going, that was sexy. That wasn't the right way to explain it. She didn't seem to understand where I was coming from. She asked me what was going through my head when I was at the store, and if I was thinking about having sex with her. I said I was thinking about the store, the items I needed to buy, inflation, etc. And then I saw the shampoo, and I thought about how she uses it, and it makes her hair smell amazing, and I bought it. She asked if I specifically thought about the way her hair smelled the last time we had sex, and I said yes. But it wasn't like I had a full sex fantasy in the store. It was a momentary thought. She said that isn't normal, and I might have Tourette's or ADHD or OCD or some other condition that causes intrusive thoughts. I'm really glad I made the last post, because I was worried about what she said. But then I remembered all the commentators that mentioned also feeling the same way about scents. I told her I posted about our conversation in an anonymous online forum, and several people feel the same way I do about smell. I said I think it is normal to feel that way about scents, but maybe it isn't ubiquitous. She said it isn't normal, and I might want to talk to a doctor about potentially having hypersexuality. Between her not liking my living situation and her not liking that I am attracted to her smell, which is probably my fault because I wasn't doing a good job of explaining things, I realized we just weren't compatible. I told her I thought maybe we had different needs for a relationship, and maybe would be better as friends. She said she was disappointed in me, but that she agreed. We hugged it out. I am a little bummed, but we were only dating for 4 months. Thanks for being my normalcy barometer, since I don't have one for relationships yet. The update reveals that the shampoo was never really the issue. It was just the first visible crack. Once the conversation expands to living arrangements, finances, expectations, and emotional boundaries, it becomes clear that this relationship was carrying unspoken tension long before vanilla entered the picture. The shampoo incident didn't create the incompatibility, it exposed it. What stands out most to me is how attraction itself becomes framed as a problem. Not infidelity, not disrespectful behavior, just attraction existing too freely, too often, in ways that make her feel objectified rather than cherished. And on the other side, someone who experiences attraction as instinctive, fleeting, and not always intentional, something that doesn't automatically translate into action or pressure. The moment where things really shift is when his internal thoughts are pathologized. Being told that noticing your partner's scent might indicate a disorder doesn't feel like concern. It feels like distance. It turns a difference in wiring into something that needs to be fixed. From my point of view, that's when the story stops being about misunderstanding and becomes about mismatch. What I respect about the ending is the clarity. No screaming, no dragging things out, just the realization that compatibility isn't only about liking each other. It's about how safe each person feels being fully themselves. And in this case, one person felt too seen, while the other felt constantly policed for how they experience connection. If I had to sum up the entire story in one thought, it would be this. Sometimes a breakup isn't about wrongdoing. It's about realizing that what feels natural to one person feels intrusive to the other. And when that's the case, letting go isn't failure. It's honesty. Now, let's move on to the next post. The subreddit, Am I the Asshole? Zoerigan. Am I the asshole for ending my relationship, asking my boyfriend to move out immediately, and setting firm boundaries around his dog and finances? I am 23 female and recently ended a nearly 3-year relationship with my boyfriend, 24 male. When I finally ended the relationship, I told him I wanted him to be out of my home by the time I returned later that day, and he packed his belongings and left on his own accord. I have since been criticized for being too harsh, especially regarding his dog and unresolved financial issues, so I am looking for outside perspective on whether my boundaries were unreasonable. When we first started dating, we had already known each other for some time and had an established level of trust. At the beginning of our relationship, he had just lost a job he had held for about 4 years. Over time, he moved in with me, and we agreed that once he found and retained a job, we would split expenses evenly. That never happened. From that point forward, I took over all weekly expenses, including rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, and general household costs. I continued covering everything partly because I needed to keep my household stable, and partly because I wanted to make it as easy as possible for him to focus on finding work. Over the entire relationship, he held 3 jobs total, lasting a combined 6 or 7 months. The rest of the time, I was the sole provider. Over the course of nearly 3 years, I feel I consistently went well beyond my fair share to maintain stability in the relationship. Despite repeated efforts to be patient, supportive, and reduce pressure so he could contribute, the responsibility never became balanced. About a year ago, I ended the relationship after discovering he had been messaging other women online trying to meet up. We were broken up from November 2024 to February 2025. During that time, I felt more independent and less stressed. We eventually reconciled after he promised to apply for jobs consistently and contribute financially. As we approached nearly a year since reconciling, none of those promises had been kept. Over the past month, as it became clear that nearly a year had passed without follow-through, I clearly communicated that I needed to see effort, even something as basic as applying for jobs online, because I was struggling financially and emotionally. Nothing changed, and I became burned out. During our relationship, he brought his dog to live with me, but was always clear that the dog was his, not mine. I accepted the dog into my home with the understanding that he was present and responsible for the dog's care. When I ended the relationship and he moved out, the dog remained with me temporarily. I agreed to care for the dog until the food ran out or until the new year to avoid putting the dog in a bad situation. Communication around the dog has been inconsistent. He does not currently have stable housing and has asked for extensions without providing concrete dates. The dog escaped once by opening a sliding glass door, which required me to kennel him for safety. I work very long hours, typically 56 to 70 hours a week, and during those hours the dog must remain kenneled. He is not used to a kennel and cries for long periods, disturbing my sleep and my neighbors. I do not believe this is a fair or sustainable quality of life for him, and it made it clear that keeping the dog here long term is not in his best interest. I told him clearly that I cannot have the dog in my home past December 31st and asked for a plan by December 29th. If he or a family member cannot pick the dog up, I said I would move forward with rehoming the dog or surrendering him to a shelter so he can be somewhere stable. There are also unresolved financial and property issues. During our relationship, he lost a phone his parents had paid for at a friend's birthday party I attended. I purchased a replacement phone on my own plan because I felt responsible and wanted to help. The phone and service are in my name and cannot be recovered even if the phone is returned. When he moved out, he took a television that belonged to him and a Puffco device that belonged to me, which he claims was a gift. I offered clear options to resolve this fairly. Either return the Puffco and television if I continue paying for the phone and service, or pay the remaining phone balance of $524.97 and take over the account, so it is no longer in my name. I asked for a response so we could close this out, but I have not received one. There's also an unpaid ticket he received while driving a car in my name, which remains on my record. That car was later repossessed because it was the only bill I could delay without immediate consequences in order to keep my housing and utilities current. At this point, I feel that I set clear boundaries based on my capacity, finances, and responsibility to my household. I am trying to resolve these issues in a way that avoids further instability or harm, even though that means making difficult decisions. What stands out to me immediately in this story is how quietly exhausting it feels. This isn't a dramatic breakup fueled by one explosive moment. It's the slow collapse that comes from carrying everything for too long. The tone isn't angry. It's tired. And that, to me, says a lot. From a personal perspective, this reads like someone who didn't want to draw hard lines, but was eventually forced to. The financial imbalance alone would drain most people, being the sole provider, managing rent, utilities, food, transportation, while repeatedly believing promises that never materialized. What makes it heavier is that she already tried leaving once and discovered how much lighter life felt without the constant pressure. Going back required hope. Ending it again required clarity. The part about asking him to move out immediately might sound harsh on paper, but emotionally it makes sense. When someone has lived off your stability for years, distance becomes the only way to stop the bleeding. Boundaries don't always come gently. They come when patience is gone. The dog situation, in the story portion, already feels like the breaking point. She didn't reject the dog out of cruelty. She accepted responsibility temporarily, clearly and conditionally, while knowing her own limits. And what's striking is how consistently she communicates those limits. There's no impulsiveness here, just someone trying to stay functional. And while the breakup felt like the end of a long, weary chapter, updates made it clear that leaving didn't actually end the burden she was carrying. It only showed how much responsibility she had quietly let go of that was no longer hers. I am posting this as an update because I followed through on what I said I would do, and I am still being told I was wrong for not continuing to extend myself. Zeus is my ex-boyfriend's dog. When we separated, he left Zeus at my home and communication became limited almost immediately. I work long hours, already have my own dog, and was clear from the start that I could not care for Zeus indefinitely. I gave my ex multiple verbal and written notices that I needed a concrete plan and a firm pickup date. I clearly told him I could not keep Zeus past December 31st. This was communicated more than once and in advance. I did not move the deadline or surprise him. Instead of a plan, I received repeated requests for more time with no timeline. He told me he was saving for a kennel and supplies, but also told me that if he picked Zeus up, the dog would have to live outdoors in a makeshift setup because he is not allowed to have dogs indoors where he is staying. Zeus has been an indoor dog his entire life. There were also serious practical and safety issues while Zeus was under my care. Zeus escaped my home a total of 3 times because he can open doors. Each time, I had to stop everything, search for him, and wait for him to be found and returned by Good Samaritans. In total, I missed over 16 hours of work dealing with these incidents. On one occasion, I chose not to kennel him because I felt bad, and he had explosive diarrhea throughout my home. I had to deep clean my carpets myself and ultimately dispose of my $200 carpet cleaner because it was contaminated with feces. This was not a minor inconvenience. It caused financial loss, health concerns, and additional stress on top of an already overwhelming situation. Zeus also has an untreated yeast infection in his ears that was identified months ago while my ex was still living with me. Initial drops were tried and did not resolve the issue. After that, no further veterinary care was pursued. I was not financially or logistically able to take over medical care for a dog that is not mine, especially while working 56 to 70-hour weeks. I gave my ex a final deadline and told him clearly that if I did not receive a concrete plan by that date, I would move forward with surrendering Zeus so he could receive proper care and be placed somewhere stable. He did not respond by the deadline. I followed through and surrendered Zeus to the Humane Society, which is a no-kill facility, so he could receive medical care, supervision, and a stable path forward. I informed my ex afterward. I did not abandon the dog or leave him unsafe. I took him somewhere equipped to handle his needs. Only after this did my ex respond angrily, saying he just needed more time and accusing me of being unreasonable. At that point, the decision had already been made after weeks of warnings, deadlines, and escalating issues. This was not done out of spite. It was done because continuing to wait with no plan, repeated escapes, property damage, untreated medical issues, and an unsafe proposed living situation was not fair to the dog or to me. So AITA for following through on a boundary I clearly communicated and enforcing it when nothing changed? The update transforms this from a breakup story into something much heavier, a lesson about what happens when boundaries are ignored long enough that enforcing them feels cruel, even when it's necessary. What really hit me is how the responsibility for the dog slowly became symbolic of the entire relationship. Missed deadlines, no concrete plans, constant requests for more time. Meanwhile, the consequences, missed work, damaged property, emotional strain, untreated medical issues, fell entirely on her. Again, from my point of view, surrendering the dog wasn't an act of punishment. It was an act of reality. The conditions described weren't sustainable for anyone involved, especially not the dog. Repeated escapes, untreated infections, and a proposed future of outdoor living for an indoor dog point to instability. Not bad intentions, but inability. There's something deeply uncomfortable about how people often react when someone finally stops extending themselves. Once you become the person who always absorbs the damage, the moment you stop, you're suddenly labeled cold, harsh, or unreasonable. But boundaries don't become invalid just because they inconvenienced someone who relied on your silence. Looking at the full picture, I don't see someone who abandoned responsibility. I see someone who shouldered responsibility far longer than was fair, then made the least harmful decision left when no one else stepped up. If I had to sum up the entire story in one thought, it would be this. Enforcing a boundary can look cruel to the people who benefited most from you not having one. And sometimes, choosing stability, both for yourself and for a living being who deserves better, means being willing to be misunderstood. All right, everyone, which story got you fired up the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thank you for spending your time with me. Your support genuinely means the world. Take care, much love, and I'll see you in the next one.